celebrate who we are. That's what they say when you speak. But before we do that, I want to explain what we're going to do today, because Brendan is super worried because I gave him no instructions on what we're going to do or how we're going to do it. So he just believed me and trusted me and allowed us to come up here and speak with you guys today. So I'm going to tell you what we're going to do, because over the next 3 minutes while I talk about us, you're going to zone out, and I want you to be thinking about the things I'm about to talk to you about. So this is a whiteboard class, and the way it works is this. I want you guys to come up with topics of what you want to discuss today. All right? It could be reviews, how I get reviews online. It could be when do I hire a buyer, my first buyer agent. It could be when do I hire an EA. It could be anything that's going on in your business right now, whether you're a first-year agent or a 20-year agent. Anything that you're doing right now, any question that you have in your mind, we're going to talk about. Marketing dollars is another one. I'm giving you guys a lot of hints. Yeah. These are the things that I want to talk about. When you bring up a topic, what we're going to do is it's going to be interactive. So Houston's going to say marketing dollars, and when I get to that topic, we're going to go to him and go, what is it that you want to talk about marketing dollars? So I want input from everybody in the group. That way this is a fun class. We're not going to talk for an hour and a half. I can't do it. She can't do it. All right. Does everybody understand the little instructions I just gave you?
Yes.
Over the next 2 minutes, think about topics that you want me to put up here. What we're going to do is we're going to write all the topics down. Then we're going to hang this piece of paper over here. And then we're going to go topic by topic and go through that topic, okay? I'm Justin Seeby with the Seeby Group out of Atlanta, Georgia. I've been in business for 22 years. I've owned my own brokerage. I've had 99 agents out of 3 little offices. I sold my business to Keller Williams. Here's a little tidbit for you. No KW agent ever approached me about buying my business. I had to go to KW. So if there's little bitty stores or offices out there, boutique firms, don't be afraid to talk to them about KW. I literally had to go seek KW out, and no one got me. I ended up going under the TL at that point. So there's a little tidbit for you. Graduated in 1994 from the University of Georgia with a degree in real estate. Started my actual real estate career in '97. Worked for a RE/MAX team, one of the top teams in the nation at the time, for 3 years. I met Valerie there. We both got licensed in '97. I just realized she beat me by a month.
I know, my license number is better than his.
Yours is better than mine. And I'll just talk about me and I'll let you talk about you. Unless you want to talk about me and I'll talk about you.
Sure.
No, I don't care. I'll talk about me. I like to talk about me. No. So did that, then started a little team in 2001, built my own business, sold it to Keller Williams in 2010. Came over, took all my hats off because I was doing the HR person. I was everything in running a business of 99 agents. So got rid of that, started just kind of practicing on my own. Investors came to Atlanta in 2012 and I joined an investment group, and we sold about 10,000 homes a month to this investment team. Yes, 10,000 homes a month we were selling to an investment group. There was about 5 groups of us that did that. Mark Spain was part of that. If anybody's been around long enough to know Mark Spain, we were buying thousands of homes on the steps. We had all kinds of stuff. So when I was doing that, my personal business, I started to ignore. Because if you had $1 million house and I was going to come list, I could write 10 offers by the time I drove out there and put a sign in the yard. So I started ignoring that. And what happened was I realized that there would be a point where this would go away, which it did, and I would have no business because everybody else would have my business. So I brought in a guy named Ryan Graham and started the Graham Seeby Group in 2013. We built that from 0 to 92 million in 3 years. So we built a very robust team in 3 years. I think that's important for a lot of you guys that are going, I don't have a 10 or 15 or $20 million team. You don't. You can be at 0 in 3 years. You can be close to 100 million. Last year we did a little over 104 million in sales. In Atlanta, that's about 350 units roughly. We have a team of 10. I'll let you go through the team. Valerie's my awesome director of sales. We've been together since the GSG team started. Now it's the Seeby Group, which is what you'll see on my fancy shirt here. So go ahead and kind of just give a quick introduction of you and what you do and the team.
So I'm Valerie Gonzalez. Like he said, I've been licensed since 1997. We've been friends that long.
Yeah.
Kind of grew up in real estate together. I've been a traditional agent. I've been on a team before. We actually had a tenure on a team together. And end of 2010, I came to KW. In 2013, he started a new team, and it was a great opportunity for me to work with him. I was his second buyer agent that he hired. Quickly went from 2013, at the end of 2015, he made me the lead buyer specialist for the team, and I did that for 2 years. And so my role was to grow the buyer team, manage, and also mentor and train the buyer team. That evolved into my director of sales role, which started in 2018, January of 2018. And I was the director of sales for the Grand Seeby Group, and now for the Seeby Group, where my focus was then to run, coach, and mentor the entire sales team.
So what you should hear in all that boring conversation is that we have a lot of experience of doing a lot of different things in real estate. We've run our own brokerages, we've ran our own teams, we've had little bitty jobs, we've had big jobs, we've been around the block. So let's go now into topics. So who has a topic that they want to discuss today? Always start slow, yes.
Best business operations practices.
So, all right, let's just go. All right, I can't spell. Y'all heard I went to University of Georgia, right?
Yes.
Okay, so don't get, if I spell something wrong, just let me know. So, business ops, what I'm gonna call that. All right, what else, guys?
So under that is also accurate P&L tracking, to know where you are.
All right, so I'm gonna call that P&L and budget. Yes.
Your org chart.
Org chart, okay. See, what else? Yes.
If you're a single agent, like buyer, getting a buyer's agent versus showing specialist is your first.
All right, let's just put that under BA, SA, showing assistant. What else? We only need a couple more.
How important is social media to your
Social media.
There was a question in the back.
All the way to the back.
Generating referrals.
All right, referrals. So I'm going to call that PCSOI, which is past client sphere of influence, because that's probably where you're trying to generate your business from.
You brought it up first, earlier, which is marketing dollars.
Mark, thank you. I was waiting for someone. I gave it to you.
Planted the seed. There's another question.
Yes.
Retaining talent.
Okay, that's a good one. So talent. All right, let's start with this. I'm gonna move this over here. I try not to turn my back to you guys, but I do every once in a while. And I like to move a lot, so I'm just gonna be moving around. All right. Which one do you guys want to start with? Let's start with org chart. That's an interesting. I haven't had that one yet. So who had org chart? All right. Tell me what it is. What are you asking when you say that?
So, I have a team. We have 3 agents and me and a transaction coordinator and a marketing person.
Okay.
So, I haven't quite followed the KW model exactly, so I'm curious, have you stepped out with your approach? And then, everyone talks about 10Xing, so how far in advance did you have your work chart plans where as you grow, you're just probably pieces?
Cool. You can jump in anytime you want. This is more of a business type. Okay, so I'll jump in on this. So yeah, we built ours to the model. We read the book and we built it to the model. We started with an EA, then we got contract to close, and then we started hiring buyer agents. So for us, sticking within the model worked perfectly. Now, we haven't strayed from that at all. So you're telling me you don't have an EA, an executive? You do?
Yeah. So she was the EA and she does all the transactions.
So what you've got is a EA, a transaction coordinator, and a marketing person all in one.
No, marketing person's.
Okay, they're separate. All right. So yeah, what I would do is, how does she by leveraging? Is it a she or a he? I'm sorry.
She.
By leveraging her, how is she helping you build more business?
Managing to take transactional stuff off of my plate and the agents.
Is there more things that she could be doing for your team?
Yes.
She's watching this live stream going, no, send them back to Atlanta. So, I mean, that's where you got to look at. Leverage is everything. So, the rule that I have in all of any of my, I hate to call them employees because I feel like I work for my team. They don't work for me. But all the people that I pay money to monthly on a consistent basis, employees, I want them to be at 130% capacity before I even look at adding any more support to that. And if you can't find, now that's talent. You got to have talent that can work at 130% capacity.
Yeah.
But you've got to push them. And a lot of times what I see with people who have EAs is they don't push them. A lot of times what I see with people who have EAs is that they're friends with them. My EA I love her to death. She's the backbone of my business. She's been with me for 10 years. I found her serving beer at a restaurant one night. And for 10 years she's been with me, and she is the backbone of our business.
She runs everything. She runs us all.
She is not my best friend. We don't go hang out. We do stuff with the team, but she's opposite of me. You know, if I could put a cubicle in with a roof and a back over it with a door that locks and no windows, she would get in there and work her tail off and be happy. You know, she doesn't want to be out in the open like me. She doesn't want to be in front of people. So I think that's a sidebar. I think with you, it's probably really getting deep with her and making sure you're pushing her limits. Probably, do you have a work flow for her or a work chart for her or job description?
Yeah.
I would look at that very heavily and see where, if there's any of the small things that you can leverage off for her to pick up big things and try to see what she can do to help support you there. Does that kind of make sense? Going back to your original question, from an org chart, yeah, we built our business EA first, then buyer agent, then we did another buyer agent, then we did 2 more buyer agents, then we did contract to close.
What's it?
EA is an executive assistant, and it should be your first hire. Yes, sir.
Around how many transactions per year were you at when you went from just the EA to?
It's a great question. So this is oftentimes I get, when do I hire an executive assistant?
Right.
If you're doing anywhere from 3 to 5 million, you should have an executive assistant. If you're an individual agent and you're producing 3 million a year, you go get an EA and your business is going to double, right? And most people are scared to make that jump. Your first hire, guys, anytime you hire anybody, it's a 90-day probationary period. You don't have a job for me when I hire you on day 91. And I explain that out of the gate. Thank you for joining the team. On day 91, you don't have a job. So please earn it from this point on. And so you don't have to make a year commitment. You can make a 90-day commitment to see how they change your lives. And EAs, who has EAs in here? How significant of a change in your life was it when you made that hire? It's probably the best thing you ever did, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
You said 3 to 5 million. How many transactions would that equate to? Because I feel like it might be different.
So to me, our average price point in Atlanta is 309. And what is y'all's average price point? I should have known.
235.
235. So yeah, so that you can kind of do the numbers. You know, it's 10 to 15 units a year. Cool. Any other questions on that? Any other questions on when you hire an EA or BA?
Yeah, that's a sidebar. And for me, as I said, it's I want to accelerate, but not just throw money around because I don't have that luxury to do so. But as I'm literally in my second month and I'm trying to maximize opportunities, how soon does it make sense? You just say the $3 million answer, so to speak. Is that the typical benchmark?
So go ahead. You wanna...
No, I mean, I think as soon as you know that what you're currently doing is not your highest and best use of your time, and it's not the most dollar productive activity that you could be doing, I think that's your ticket right there. I mean, that's the sign. That's the sign to look for. Leverage that and go do what you're better at.
Yeah, if you're on a trajectory of, if you're kicking butt on getting listings and doing things like that and lead generating, but you're spending all your time doing contract paperwork, marketing stuff, doing MLS stuff, then transition that out, leverage that out and jump on that. And again, it's a 90-day investment. Don't think of it as a year-long investment, just a 90-day investment.
Are you using the career visioning every time?
Are we using career visioning every time is the question. I'll repeat this is this the only microphone up here? So I'll repeat the question so all the people out there can hear us. We have a very strict hiring policy and system. It's very systematized. Yeah, we start with the DISC analysis, and then we go. What was the old one that we were using?
So we use the DISC.
She does all the hiring. Let her answer this.
All right. So Joan, who's our director of operations, was his first hire. That was his EA. She's been with him for 13 years. So, there was no career visioning back then. We weren't even at KW back then. So that's not something that even applies. But yes, we do. The thing I want to see first is a DISC, and I want to see a KPA. I don't go through the entire career visioning process with a buyer agent.
Wait, yeah, let's listen to what she's saying there. That's important.
Yeah.
With an EA, you do it step
Absolutely.
by step.
All 4 or 5 interviews that you would go through in a full career visioning. I would do that with someone in operations or admin, someone to lead a team, that kind of thing. If you're looking to be a 7th level and you want someone to run your team, I think you need to go career visioning for all of that.
And guys, here's where you fail. You don't want to do that because you're too busy. You're all high D's or high I's out here. Most of you guys are. And you don't want to go through the process. When you're hiring an EA, go through the process. Force yourself to sit down and do every single step of the KPA and everything through career visioning.
Right. So when I am hiring an agent, whether it be a buyer agent or a listing agent, first thing I want to look at is DISC. Second thing I look at is the KPA, and I do rely a lot on the job title category. I look at that. If they've never been in real estate, I want to look at where they lived before, so whether it was a sales role, and go through the process of interviewing them and looking at references. And then I put them on a 30, 60, 90. And
Talk about that.
Yeah. So I created a 30, 60, 90 when I stepped into the director of sales role at the beginning of 2018. It wasn't really something that existed in KW. There was no manual for it. So I had to pretty much create my own. And the first thing I did was create the 30, 60, 90. It's different for a buyer agent than it is for a listing agent. I'm constantly changing it and evolving it. The way that I set the expectation is on our team, when I hire you, you don't get leads until I think you've kind of earned the right to get leads. I want to see what you do with your database and with your sphere of influence and past clients. And even if you've never sold real estate before, they probably had a past client somewhere else, whether it was in a different career or someone that they had serviced in the past. And so once you kind of show your capacity with that database, then the team starts to build leads or give leads that way. But I check in every 30 days and I tell them that, and I set the expectation from the very beginning. So the same with our clients when we're trying to set expectations with them, same thing with the agents. So, and like you said, they are our clients.
They are, yeah.
So a 30-day check-in, and at the 91st day, like he mentioned, then they are completely invited to join the team or not join the team.
Yeah, generally you don't get a lead on our team for the first 30 or 60 days. We tell them 60, we might give them leads on day 30, but we really want to push them into getting into what we're going to talk about, the PCSOI, your past clients in your sphere of influence, where 80% of your business comes from. We're going to teach and educate our agents on how to go get that business. We want to see them getting that business out of the gate. Yes, ma'am?
When you say getting leads or giving us as agents leads, you mean, I thought we had to get leads on our own, is that the whole point?
Well, so we do, but on our team, one of the value adds for joining a team typically is to have leads given to you, right?
Yeah.
So our expectation is that 2/3 of the leads will come from either a system that the team has or the team, and 1/3 of the business will come from the agent. So.
Yeah. And so what I just said right before that too, 80% of your business comes from people you know or people you've worked with. So we focus in on the agent, making sure the first 30 or 60 days that they're getting in their database and doing that and generating their leads. So yeah, so as we talk about this, guys, I'll say 2 quick things. We're telling you from our perspective in running a team. So if we scale off a little bit from individual stuff, let us know and we'll kind of go from there. Also, everything you hear today is just going to be our opinion. None of it's fact. Right? This is just how we've done it, how it's worked for us in the past.
Well, and a lot of the things that we do, even as a team, apply to single agents. You can take the same practices and apply those to your business as a single agent.
All right, business opportunity. Who brought that up?
Operations.
Operations.
Yeah.
That was you. Talk to me about that.
Sure. So just, I guess, more of the structured systems and what you have in place to make sure that everything's kind of running in all cylinders.
Perfect. So we'll go two different directions with that. Let's go to our daily structure of our business and our accountability, and then I'm happy to write down every system that I currently use and share with you guys so you can look at that. It doesn't mean that you have to use it. If you're running a team, if you're not running a team, command is your answer. If you're running a team, command is not your answer yet. It's just not there yet. So you want to go through our daily schedule?
Yeah, so again, this is expectation. So for anyone who's on our team, the expectation is, and we've had a summer schedule recently, so I'm just going to talk about what our normal schedule is. The expectation is we meet every morning at 9 a.m. together as a team. It's a 15-minute huddle. Sometimes it lasts a little bit longer, to 30 minutes. That's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. On Thursdays, we meet for an hour, and it's a bigger team meeting, and we usually have like a guest speaker there. So our huddle every morning is, first question is, give us good news from the past 24 hours. You know, someone says, I just got something under contract, you know, whatever that may be. The next thing we go to is challenges. And this has been instrumental for the growth of our team and to fast track our agents into being the most prolific and proficient agents in Atlanta. I've taken 2 freshman classes of agents that within 3 months were talking, speaking, and acting as if they've been in the business at least 5 years. That's how much experience they can gain through this morning huddle. So one agent would bring up a challenge. It could be anything from, I'm having a hard time negotiating a contract, this is what's going on. And so the challenge gets brought up, and then the other agents, especially the senior agents, are the ones to help resolve the challenge. And
Now, what you don't do is you don't give them the answer. As leadership, you don't just go, here's the answer. You let them talk about it and discuss it back and forth, right? And what she's saying is, when we have 300 units a year, we have 300 transactions that have 300 different sets of problems. And when you're talking about those in a daily meeting with your team, you know, then that will help. Now, what if I'm not on a team? Well, if you're not on a team, get with a group of people, of individual agents who aren't on a team, and meet daily for 15 minutes. Talk about the challenges that they're facing in their business. That will grow you and help you learn and experience a lot more in real estate than the individual agent.
Yeah. So we go good news, challenges, and then listing updates. And the last thing that we finish with in our huddle are going to be these things called coins. So one of the things that has made us super successful from the beginning, I believe, is our culture. And we do work very much like a family. Our team has kind of all grown up together. Some of the key players on the team are all from the same hometown. They went to high school together. I've been adopted into that family. You know, and so that's very important to us. So we do a thing called coins. So in order to foster that team environment and helpfulness, all of the agents and leadership can give each other coins. The only person who can't receive a coin is leadership, right? So for instance, I have an agent who goes out of town, and he has Peter, one of our other agents, handle his business for him while he's out of town. You know, so when that agent comes back, he's like, I want to give Peter a coin because he was super helpful while I was out of town. Or someone called one of our senior buyer agents and said, you know, Emily helped me with a problem that I had in a contract. I want to give her a coin. So we have a coin system to kind of foster that.
Then once a month, the first Tuesday of every month, whoever has the most coins gets a $50 gift card. And it's just crazy especially if you're running a team, it's crazy how the agents want to help each other for a $50 gift card. Everything comes with a price, and it's $50.
Yep.
Trust me. Yes, sir.
Can you start with a certain amount of coins to give away?
No, zero.
No.
I mean, every month you have zero, and you just. This came from the Boy Scouts. This came from the Boy Scouts.
We didn't invent
This is
it.
super cool. And it's amazing how much people want to help each other. And again, I'm not on a team. We'll get with a group of people and help each other.
But you know, it's awesome because, especially as leadership, and you know, and I sit amongst the agents. The listing agents sit together, but I sit with all of the buyer agents. And if I'm hearing them, you know, and I see one buyer agent be helpful to another buyer agent, They don't think I'm listening, but I love to be able to capture that moment and give a coin for them.
Well, and the team, when I say team leaders in this room, it's gonna be the teams, the little bitty team leaders, not Brandon and those guys. But the team leaders, like this makes your phone not ring as much. If you want like a little bit of a life back, like that little program will help you. All right, so just real quick, so 9 to 9:15 we have daily huddle, 9:15 to 9:30. Our door, management's door, our operations door stays open. At 9:30, we shut the door. The agents are back at their desk doing lead gen, lead follow-up. They're not writing contracts. They're not doing amendments. They're not scheduling showing appointments. They're doing lead gen, lead follow-up. At 11:30, we open the door, there's a line of people outside my door because all you high eyes, which I'm a high eye, I would rather come see you and shake your hand and talk to you than send you an email. My operations people hate it. That's Joan going, I wish I was in a box so people would leave me alone, right? But so at 11:30, the door opens. All our leads are managed and distributed through the office during business hours. So after 11:30, the agents go eat lunch. And then if they're not back in the office, I expect that they're out showing real estate, right? If you're not showing real estate, then I expect you to be in the office. So all our leads are handed out through the office during office hours. After office hours, they're jump balled. We can get into those systems later. So this kind of gives you a daily schedule, a daily huddle. That's part of your question?
Yeah.
All right, and the other part was,
Just, I guess, some of those systems and what,
Okay.
maybe not like the names of the systems, but how you customize running the business.
okay. Well, what I'll do, let's move on to the next one. I'm gonna write down all the systems that we use and I'll just put it up there so you guys can see it. I mean, we have a website. We use REW, which is Real Estate Webmasters. That's our website. That's our front-facing website for everybody. Who has a CRM? Who doesn't have a CRM? Okay. What's the best CRM? What's that? The one you're using. Yeah, it doesn't matter. If you've got one, use it. I mean, we started on Excel, and we still have Excel
It's a backup.
sheets that we use. But what we're using right now is the program called FUB, which is Follow Up Boss. Command is your answer. Command will be your answer. If you're running a team, it's not your answer right now. And I'm on labs. I go out to Austin. I spent all summer there building all this stuff. I talk with Bobby Moats all the time. I just did a webinar last week about all this stuff. Command just isn't quite there yet for teams, but it will be there. And guys, once Command is fully operational for me and a team, it's going to save me about $140,000 a year in what I pay for other systems just to cover it. So I'm super, trust me, the minute it works, I'm jumping on it, and you'll know too. So Follow Up Boss is the system that we use for all that. We use Ring Central.
What's the first one?
Real Estate Webmasters.
Real Estate Webmasters, and it's just a front-facing website. If I was you and I was getting a brand new site, I would look at Boomtown now because it integrates directly with Command. Right? Or is it Brivity or Boomtown? Boomtown. Yeah, I said that right.
So that when it's one of the sites where you can put marketing dollars in and they'll manage it and get you getting.
Yeah, so let's talk about your websites because that's a great question. That goes into social media too and how you generate leads. The fastest, easiest, quickest way to generate a lead is to create a front-facing website, a Boomtown or REW, any site that you want, and do pay-per-click. Does anybody know what pay-per-click is? It's you pay for the ad, you pay per click. So when you Google something, and you guys have always seen there's ads at the top, if you Google the best shoe store in Atlanta, you'll have like three or four little ads, and then you'll have a list of, well, the one that's under the ad is like the most respected one according to Google, the one that actually does the most. All the other ones are ads. So when you click that button, that charges that company a dollar amount, and then that lead goes to your website. So if you want to generate immediate leads, quick, easy, simple leads, it's pay-per-click. Now SEO is really where you want to get it to eventually because that's free. Once you build a website that has a good SEO platform, you're generating leads for free. And one of the things I love to do is generate leads for free. So we're going to talk about reviews. Did reviews make it?
Yeah.
It did.
Well, referrals was the
Referrals,
suggestion.
reviews. I said PCSOI. We're going to talk about reviews, and I'll just give you a little hint. 24.5% of our business last year was from reviews. that's about 90 units. It cost us $0. So we sold 90 units for $0 of expense. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. All right, does that all right, Ring Central is just our phone system. What it allows you to do is, if you're on a team, everything that we do is jump ball. Do you guys know what that means? When a
Or
lead comes in, it
FaceTime.
goes out to the entire team. Well, if they Ring Central, it rings everybody's phone number. If someone dials our number, it rings everybody's phone at the exact same time. There's an identifier number in front of it. It's 221. And so they know that's a lead call. That call gets answered quickly, guys, because it rings the entire buyer team. It rings my entire listing team. So that's how we manage those on our leads through Follow Up Boss. On the e-leads that come in, those are all sent out to everybody via text and email, and whoever claims it first gets it. So everything, the 30-second elevator pitch on my business is speed the lead, getting to the lead as fast as possible. We want to be talking to them within 90 seconds. Consistent, long-term follow-up. Our follow-up plans are 5 years long when you talk about e-leads and things like that. And we convert 4-year leads all the time. I mean, all the time we have leads that are 3, 4, 5 years old that convert. So you've got to stick with those. We'll talk about e-leads a little bit more. All right, does that am I leaving anything out here?
No, I don't think so.
All right, questions?
Aside from the agents claiming the lead initially by getting there the fastest, how are you holding them accountable? Like, let's say I'm really good at just getting it, and then
This system tells me how fast they responded, how many times they responded. I get a percentage rate. I can see their notes, watch what they're doing. Everything is managed through this system. So I look at that all the time. I love leads. Leads are my favorite thing about the business. I'm a crazy lead person.
Right.
I need a new analogy. I used to say something else, but I'm following leads like crazy. So I'm looking at them.
Follow-up Boss and Boomtown are great for those e-leads and new cold leads and stuff like that, but you also talking about 80% of your business comes from Sphere, past clients, and stuff like that. So what are you using to manage those relationships?
We put them into Follow Us.
Put them right here. So we have action plans that we've created for our past clients. We have an action plan that we created just for our Sphere. They're 5 years long. They just send emails out. They notify the agent once every quarter to call that person. So, and we'll talk about that in a minute. When we get down to the end, the last 30 minutes, I'm going to show you our marketing plan. I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to explain it to you. I hope you use it. I hope you make it better, and then you just have to let me know how you made it better. But we'll talk about that then.
Real quick, FUB.
Follow Up Boss. Follow Up Boss, Real Estate Webmasters, Ring Central. Those are really our only 3 systems right now. Yes, ma'am.
So follow-up Boss is you're actually saying what the agents are logging on, what they're doing?
Absolutely.
You're spying on your agents, basically,
I'm
right?
spying on my agents.
Okay.
That is,
It's actually
I love
really
it.
cool.
Yeah.
I mean, so as someone who uses it for both things, I can call the person from my phone. It will track it in Follow Up Boss, so he can see that I've made the call. I can put notes.
Right,
Exactly.
right.
You can text from it as well, and it would log that for me as well. And then from a leadership standpoint, I love where you can put in your deals, so I can see what each agent has upcoming as far as a pipeline, what they have, like offers that they currently are working on, what they have pending, what they have closed, any kind of dead deals if anything's fallen apart. So from both ends of it, it's fantastic.
I think what's important,
And
it's
Command
not,
will do that.
it's not this system, it's that you have a system that does
That
that.
works,
Yeah.
right.
And guys, Command will do this,
Yeah.
right?
Command
I'm
will
not
do
here to support Follow Up Boss.
Right, no.
I'm here to really support Command, because Command's gonna be free. But all you want is, I spy on my agents because I have to hold them accountable. Anybody who runs a team knows this, that their buyer agents say that they're doing all the stuff and then they're not doing it. And it's not that they're lying, they think they're doing it. They forgot that they had a lead from 3 days ago that they didn't call. And you're like, are you staying in touch with your leads? Yeah, every day. And then they forgot about that lead. And so any system just will help you track that. This is just what we use.
I was just trying to get it not confused and to clarify it with, I think there's another system my mentor was telling me, not that this is off
Sure.
topic, but that you can see what your clients are doing, or what people are looking on websites.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you can see.
We can see, we can see all that
You
through
can see
here.
that from the.
Yeah, our back end, our front-facing website, I can see every time they log in, every time they
What
favorite
they've
a property,
looked at.
what they look
Brand
at.
new, this is like Greek to me,
Yeah.
so I'm just trying to
Yeah.
learn.
Yeah, we
something.
spy on everybody.
Gotcha.
I know what you ate last night. Who else had a question? Anybody else? All right, let's go to PCSOI, which was your past, since this is the topic of the moment. So PCSOI is past client sphere of influence. 80% of your business comes from this group, right? So who's spending money on Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com? Anybody buying any leads? Okay. Are you guys doing over 30 million in sales a year? Well, let me rephrase that. We didn't spend money on leads until we broke the $30 million mark. All right, we had 279 contacts in our database, and a contact has a first and last name, an email address, a mailing address, and a phone number. And we built a system attacking that past client in that sphere, and that's how we went to 92 million in 3 years. Just attacking that. Now the database got bigger every year, but right now even that database with us doing, almost $100 million a year for the last 2 or 3 years is still under 2,000 people. And so we're adding 300 to 400 people a year just from past clients. And then as we add agents to our team, the first thing you have to do when you join our team in the first 30 days is provide us with 100 contacts. And so to answer your question, we use Follow Up Boss. We have a plan that we market to our past clients in our sphere, and we do that on behalf of our agents. Now, if you're an individual agent, you would do that on behalf of yourself, right? So the first thing you need to do, and I challenge everybody here because it seems easy, go to your database. Do you have 100 contacts? Do you have 100 first name, last name, email, phone number, and mailing address? Because if you don't have all 4 of those things, it's not a contact. Right?
And weekly, even if you're an established agent, been doing this for forever, and you have 300 in your database, whatever the number is, you should be actively adding to that on a weekly basis.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
What's your best tactic for getting addresses? Because that's something my database is. Are you just picking up the
Here.
phone, or do you actually
Here.
have something where you can sort of
Here.
find
This
it?
thing that gets me everywhere and takes great pictures for Instagram is actually a phone. Yeah, I love phone calls. Okay, and so with our new agents, the first phone call is, hey, this is Valerie. We haven't talked in a while. I just want to let you know I've started a new career. I would love for your support, and also I'd love to keep you up to date on what's going on in the market. Are you still at 123 Main Street? Oh, okay, you've moved. All right. That's how they start, right? And that's how they get the addresses. So I have them start with their phone and go through that database. I have them go through their Facebook and go through that database and then compile it, right?
A simple
I'm a
text
phone
message.
call girl.
Hey, what's your address? I'm going to mail you something. Most people are going to be like, okay, well, here's my address. What am I getting?
Yeah.
You just got to ask for it.
And just to piggyback on that, the power of a handwritten note card in today's day and age, I can't even tell you how fantastic that is. I'll have the agents go through Facebook and say, oh, they just had a vacation. Handwritten note card. Hey, I just saw that you were in Hawaii. How was it? Let's grab coffee.
Cool.
Birthday cards, that kind of thing. That's one of the daily activities. Actually, they should be writing 10 to 12 note cards a week.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to bounce around a little bit. I want to come back to PCSOI because that's my last 30 minutes and that's my marketing plan, and that's really going in deep. Who asked about how you keep talent? How do you keep talent?
Yeah.
That's a question we get all the time. So my explanation to that is for our office, my talent makes good money and they have no expenses. I can show you agents in my office that make $170,000 a year that net 50. They're spending a lot of money on marketing, a lot of stuff like that. When I have talent, it's making their lives easier. It's leveraging, so what they're doing is what they love to do the best. Like I've got a rock star listing agent that still, after 6 years in the business, can't write a contract to save his life. and if he does, you're like, oh,
Let's fix it real quick.
Yeah, don't. So my operations manager just writes his contracts for me. And I know it's silly, but it's just, he's so good in front of people and so scatterbrained not in front of people that we've just kind of pull away the things that he's not good at and the things that he doesn't like to do and focus on the things that he does. Talent stays with us because they net more and we make their lives easier, it's more manageable. Not all talent. I think people confuse a high D, a driver, with talent. Because Ds want to go, and build, and it's hard to keep a D around forever because they eventually go, I can do this on my own, right? So, but talent sometimes, like Joan's talent, and money doesn't mean anything to Joan. If you're watching, I'm kidding, but no, I mean, she really loves the job, the company, the business. I mean, she owns it in her heart. And so talent it's not always money. I think we confuse that. So, but I keep talent by leveraging off the things they don't like, keeping them busy and giving them a structured life. They can go home at night. I mean, Ryan, for example, has 2 daughters and he has split custody with his daughters. So 3 days a week, they're living with him and every other weekend. And he works from 8 in the morning till 5 o'clock at night. And then he doesn't show property. He doesn't have to because he manages his schedule and he's got people to support him. So, I mean,
Yeah, I'd love to interject.
Yeah.
I mean, he's called me talent
Yeah.
before. So
Did I miss that one?
I'm creating.
Yeah.
No, I don't need that. From my point of view, for me personally, it's this relationship and the relationship with the team that I love. Also, I feel like a way to retain talent and the way that it's been for me with him, he's created a world where whatever I kind of want to envision for my career and for my path, it's big enough for that. You know what I mean? And I remember hearing that when I took career visioning, and it's like you want to look for those empire builders, you want to hire those empire builders, and I feel like that's something that helps to retain talent as well.
No, that's a great point. You always have to be flexible and able to grow with them. Don't let them outgrow you. So perfect. Any other questions on talent? All right, let's go to BA and SA, which is showing assistant and buyer agent. Who asked about showing assistants and buyer agents? What was your question?
Just deciding at what point, well, first of all, I guess, do you go with it? I've seen both work well. It seems for some people, it's smarter to go with the showing assistant first, and then once you up your volume next month, and then they kind of earn the right to actually, you basically give them the whole buyer side.
Can I answer that?
Or do the other way around.
So my question to you would be, what does your business look like right now?
So we have, we're both, me and my partner step here, we're kind of split almost like half and half now, right now between sales and investment. So we're like buying properties and stuff and doing rehab and products. So
Do you both do listings?
we do.
Okay. Is one of you going to be kind of the lead listing agent?
I don't think so. I don't think so right now. I don't know how she feels, but I'm tired of showing houses.
Who's tired of showing houses? Are you tired of showing
I am,
houses?
yeah.
Okay. Well, so I would go with that. Go with that. And I know, so we've always worked very specialized. And we've run this team very, very specialized. So you were either a listing agent or you were a buyer agent.
Right.
And there will come a point where you don't want to be in the car anymore. I love being in the car. So that's where my heart is. It's always been there.
That's great.
Now, so get out of the car. I would say get out of the car. If the highest and best use of your time is to be on a listing appointment, do that. And you hire a buyer agent who's going to also make you money, right? More so than a showing agent. I see a showing agent as something that I can use to leverage my buyer agents, right? Not a rainmaker.
So I don't mind like sitting down and having a buyer's council and having that whole conversation and have like I think I can convert pretty well at having those conversations. It's really just the going out and showing the houses.
Well, so imagine if you had a buyer agent who is doing that You know, you could be the first one to introduce them, then they take that buyer on, but they're also generating their own business and creating more buyer business for your team, right? So I think you have to look at it that way. Otherwise, I mean, I think showing agents are great. I think they serve a purpose. When I was at the highest level of my production, which was 2016, I literally needed to be in 4 different places at one time. You know, in the spring market, my appointments are back to back to back, and they would be like 6 and 7 a day, right? And some of them would be kind of piddly appointments where I'd have to like go let in someone for a walkthrough, or go do this, or go do that, which wasn't the highest and best use of my time. So and at that point, I think for a really high producing buyer agent, yes, a showing agent works wonders. But for someone like you, and if you want to build into a bigger team, or at least be able to focus on things that are making you the most money, because that's where your, your wheelhouse is, then I would say go with a buyer agent. And it has an income generation.
Well, and that's a great point, and I think we'll go to when do you hire a buyer agent? Does anybody want to, like at what volume level do you hire a buyer agent? And again, this is my opinion, and I share this with other people, but if you're carrying 3 to 5 signs, signs in yards, like y'all have yard signs, right? I know a lot of y'all are in town, right?
In a window.
I mean, do you have window signs? What do you have here?
They're on the brick.
You're on the brick.
That's fair.
All right. So maybe
The phone's ringing though, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So generally, if you're not tracking, if you don't have a very sophisticated system to track your leads, every lead that comes in, and you're carrying 3 to 5 listings, and I don't put sold writers on any of my listings or under contract, because what happens when the buyer drives by and it says under contract? They don't call, right? So I don't do that. Now, if you're trying to farm a specific area and really build your reputation in that area, and every time you put something under contract, you want to slap a sold or under contract sign on it, I get that. But if you're not, don't do that. Especially if you're feeding, as an individual agent, you're feeding yourself. So if I have 5 listings and I'm putting under contract writers, my phone stops ringing when all 5 are under contract. You know, don't do that. That's just my personal opinion. So if you're generating, or if you've got 3 or 5 active listings out there, probably 5 maybe, then you probably need a buyer agent, and you need a lead tracking system to track those leads. And it starts with going to places like Zillow, Truly, or Realtor.com, everywhere where your leads syndicate to, making sure you have an account there, and making sure that your email address is actually coming to you. Because if you don't have an account there, your listings are going there, right? Everything's syndicated here no matter what, right?
Yeah.
So if you're not claiming that listing, then another agent in your market's getting every Zillow lead that comes in on your listing, every Realtor.com lead that comes in on your system. If you're not going in and making sure. Now, what I found is that we had different email addresses for every one of those systems, or every one of those places. So going in, we created one email, one Gmail account that was just for leads, and we forwarded every lead source to that specific area, or to our CRM, and then our CRM sent it out, and the agents claimed it. And what we found is that we were generating about 10 times more leads than we thought we were. I was like, look back on the last 90 days. We were carrying, this was in 2014, we were probably carrying maybe 9 listings, and I was like, look back the last 90 days, Joan, and see how many leads. And she's like, and I'm like guessing, and I'm like, guess. And she's like, well, probably, maybe we had maybe 30 or 40. Well, in the first 30 days, we had 184 leads that we didn't even know about, that we weren't tracking because we didn't have a system to track it.
It's because you changed and updated your emails for all the...
No, this was just us not knowing that, and it was like, I was like, because we had the accounts, but we didn't have them going to the right place. We didn't have them funneling through a CRM, and we were just blown away by the amount of leads that we had. So, like I said, I bet if you're carrying that many and you're not funneling all your leads to one place and making sure you're tracking them, that you have a lot more opportunities out there, and that you need a buyer agent to help you. So what we say in Atlanta is 3 to 5 listings, you need a buyer agent. 5 to 8 listings on average, you need 2 buyer agents. When you get to like 10 to 15, it's like 4-ish. But at 15 listings to 18 listings, you can have 10 or 15 buyer agents. We had 25 at one point, and we were carrying like 30 listings a month. So the number goes differently.
I had 14 last
14.
year.
That's it.
Well, yeah.
I said
last year was 14. At one point, we did have 25. But, you know, and again, you gotta think about the fact that, especially if you set the expectation that a third of the business is gonna be generated by them, think of what that could do for your business. I mean, it can grow exponentially.
And how many transactions on average are buyers?
So, my kind of baseline expectation is that our buyer agents are hitting between 4 and 6 million a year. So in Atlanta, like he said, it's about a $300,000 sales price, average sales price. So that's an expectation. Actually, you know what? Scratch the sales price. My expectation is 2 a month. 2 a month. That should hit about 24, which will totally hit 6 million.
Yeah, we want 6.25 for every buyer.
Do you guys know who Gene Rivers is? All right, I adore that man. I took career visioning with him. And he did our ALC kind of induction in December last year. And he said, if you have a buyer agent that's doing 1 deal a month, you're losing money. If you have a buyer agent that's doing 2 deals a month, you're losing money. You're making money at 3 deals a month. So kind of think of it like that.
Cool. All right, let's go to P&L budget. Yes, go ahead.
So, if you have agents doing, say, 24 deals a year, 80% of those deals are coming from their sphere?
So with the agents, it's different, you know, and we actually do pie charts, which I love to see. Oh, sorry.
No, good.
No, you
Go
go.
ahead. So 53% of our business comes from past client sphere of influence overall, the big pie chart, right? 80
For the team.
81.5% of my buyer's agent's business come from me. They're generating about 18.5% of their business. The goal is a third, so they're falling short, which is fine. I expect that. But overall, and when we get into the marketing plan, we're going to talk. I'll show you why. I mean, what happened was at one point we were 89% PCSOI, past client sphere, because we weren't doing anything for non-Mets. And then we really focused heavily, and that's after we broke 30 million. We focused heavily on non-Mets to swing that pendulum back, and we're at 53 past client sphere and 47 would be non-Mets now. So we'll get into that.
But 2/3 of the leads that your buyer's agents are focusing on are coming from, that's your lead.
81% of their leads are coming from me. Or the total leads are coming from me.
Is that the team taking credit for the past client follow-up leads that are coming from? So like if you have a, you know, Luke's the agent on my team, he closes a deal, it's his past client, it goes into follow-up us, you're managing all the past client follow-up. So that person calls and says, hey, I want to list the house I bought 3 years ago.
We'll get to that in a second. We'll get to that in a second because we make him do the follow-up.
Okay, so.
But we hold him accountable through FUB.
But so that's his 1/3 that's.
Yes,
absolutely.
that's correct.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Any other questions on that? Yes.
So you're saying that the team-generated lead goes to the agent for follow-up, so like this is 2/3 part of the deal. Then if it comes back and there's another transaction, that's the 1/3 of the agent, correct?
It depends. If they come back through the agent, meaning the agent was doing their job, then the agent gets credit for it. If they come back through the system because the agent wasn't staying in front of them, then it's not the agent's lead.
We do differentiate with that.
Yeah. Cool. All right. P&L and budget. Who had P&L and budget? P&L and budget. Who has a budget? Honestly, who has a budget that they read quarterly? Guys. All right. I had this business. It was called 9 Mile Trolley. It was a little boutique real estate firm, and I had about 99 agents, 3 offices. I was 28, and I sold personally that year. I'd sold $5 million in real estate. I was keeping all the money, so I was making. No, I'm sorry, $15 million in real estate that year. So I was keeping all the money. So at the end of the year, I'd make $500,000, and I was running this business. And I looked at my operations manager, who still works with me today. It's a different one, but she does our contract to close. And I said, why is there no money in the bank account? And she said, you spend it all. And I said, how? You know, my business is doing $70 million, and I've got $15 million of my own, you know. And she's like, well, let me go through the expenses of our 3 offices. And she started listing out the expenses. And I was spending like $40-something thousand a month on keeping the doors open. Didn't even have a clue. Guys, you run a business. Does anybody know Bob Klinsky? He runs the Southeast region. Anna Klinsky's his daughter, and she says it the best way. The local gas station down the road does $1 million in business a year. That's a big deal, right? You think they got a budget? You guys are doing $2, $3, $4, $5, $6 million a year, and you don't have a budget. You have to have a budget. If there's any way that y'all could get Bob Klinsky up here to teach that budget class, I mean, he is absolutely phenomenal.
He's
He does
amazing.
all over the Southeast. I don't know if he'll do it over Zoom or
I know
something.
his daughter, so I can, I'll ask.
But everybody needs a budget. That's what I would challenge the TL and the owner here to do is get someone to come in and teach a budget class. Because every one of you guys know, you raised your hand. You know how valuable it is, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you need to have a budget. You need to know your numbers. You need to know where your expenses are. You need to know where, especially if you're running a team, you got to know where everything's going and what it costs you to get that business. Because there are places where you think, we had an ISA and we thought we can't wait to fire her. And then we actually did a budget with her, like on her numbers and everything, and really focused it. And she was making us like 5 times the money we were paying her. So we just put up with her for a while. We were like, oh, we can deal with her for a while. So yeah, get a budget. Look at your P&Ls monthly. You need to be looking at all of that stuff as often as possible. If you don't track your numbers, you won't know where anything's going, and it'll go away so fast. And the biggest problem, and I bet if I asked this question and everybody was honest, every real estate agent I've met, just about everyone has had an issue with the IRS. I have, right? We all have had issues with the IRS. Not, always owing them money or slightly getting behind because we didn't know. We put all that $10,000 check in the bank and don't put any money away for the IRS, right? So do your P&Ls and do your budgets and look at them. Try to get a class in here to teach somebody on that because that's a really good class for you guys. Is that?
You're tracking your paid advertising, your insurance, your rent, and all that other kind of stuff, and your admins and all that stuff, and contributing it to closed deals. And how are you guys tracking? If an agent is doing X, but they've had these type of leads, but you know that they're better at this. How do you, looking at P&L, kind of being able to, say, well, listen, let's help you focus on this because this is where you can also improve.
So we, because we track everything, we can create these great charts. So it's a pie chart, essentially, created on Excel, or Google Sheets, Excel, whatever that's called. And it's where all of their sources are. So when I'm looking at that, and I see that 17% is coming from their SOI, or their PCSOI, and 10% is coming from Zillow, and 15% is coming from open houses, and they're really great at open houses. So that becomes you want to generate more business, go do more open houses. And then we also see deficiencies where there are opportunities, because I have a running list of all the places where business can come from, right? And so it's a great time to be able to see where the opportunities are.
So again, open houses and internet general leads and their sphere are all from different sources or CRMs. How are you bringing all those into one system to be able to track that?
No, the FUB tracks that.
From FUB.
So we do tags in FUB, so we know exactly where that client is coming from. FUB tracks that.
Is it QuickBooks? Are you using QuickBooks?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't do
Yeah,
those.
and if you're running a big team, you need an accountant that does your accounting monthly. And that's what we do. We have an accountant that does it. And I'm not a real big numbers guy. I'm the pie chart guy. That's why we have so many pie charts. Georgia again, is because I like to look at pretty pictures, And so the pie chart's what we look at, and we source everything through that. Cool. Any other questions on that? All right, we're getting close. We've got 25 minutes left, and I want to get into our marketing plan, which also talks about our PCSOI. Who brought up social media? I'll be quick on it. Questions?
What platforms are you using? What's most effective?
What platforms are you using for social media?
So we use Facebook. That's huge for us. Yelp is humongous, and that's not really a platform. However, it is a platform for reviews. And that has been huge in the past year and a half, right?
9% of our business came from Yelp.
Right. And then the individual agents to Instagram and Facebook. So obviously everyone on the team is, if the team puts out a listing via Facebook, everyone shares it, that kind of thing. We keep it simple. Some of us take it a little bit further than others. We were doing kind of videos to Facebook for a while as well, and that seems to be, again, coming back around again, where video is everything now, or live Instagram. I love Instagram. I think it's a perfect match for real estate, pictures and houses. I mean, who doesn't love just looking at pictures of houses all day long, right? So, I think that's something that we can always be improving on.
Cool, thanks. All right.
My pleasure.
Let's get into our marketing plan. Kind of have to draw on your wall. I've done that before. I did a class and drew it like all over it, and then I pulled it off and it was right there. I was like, uh-oh.
It's all we painted it.
All right, yeah. Let's talk about our marketing plan, and this is how we attack our past clients in Sphere, which is what you're talking about. And I'm going to write it out here. So on the first of the month, we do a video email. All right. I'm going to do these one at a time. I usually write them all up there and then kind of talk about them, but then I always want to write stuff in between and I don't have space. So let's go back to what we talked about earlier, 100 contacts, right? That's the goal. Anytime you join a team, that's the goal that every one of you should have when you walk out of here in the next 30 days, go get 100 contacts. Or if you have 100 in your database, you're already there. Then you can start the marketing plan. So first we send out a video email, right? And it's BombBomb.
Mm-hmm.
BombBomb, I think, is $19.99 a month. Someone told me it's $24.99 a month now. I'm going to go with $19.99 a month. So we're going to just call that $19.99 per month is what that costs. Your video email, you do look like that. You do sound like that. And the camera did not put the weight on. It's there, right? Here's the thing with video email. 60 seconds or less. Well, 60 to 90, sorry. 60 to 90 seconds or less. It's been a while since I put that. All right, it's a clear, concise message. You're going to do, wear what you wear. If this is what you wear to work every day, wear that. Don't put a suit on, because people know. They're like, what is he, poser? Yeah, wear what you wear every day to work, because that's what people are going to see you in, right? Now, who we sending this to? The 100 contacts, right? Your past clients or your sphere. This is how we're marketing to them, right? It's 60 to 90 seconds. You have an intro and an exit. The intro and the exit are always the same. Calms you down. This is Justin with the Seeby Group in Atlanta, Georgia. You're in town, Atlanta Metro, real estate expert. Today, we're going to talk about whatever. And then you end it with that. So you already ate up like 15 seconds, right? So that's good. You're going to do you're going to do 3 different emails each quarter, all right? So one of your emails is going to be about the market, right? One of your emails are going to be about you, and then the area you service, right? So January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Do y'all get that?
Just one question, the difference between the market and the area you serve.
So the area could be like events, things like that.
Thank you.
And the U can be funny stuff. Like the funny stuff is the best. The funny stuff is like when the prince and the princess got married and they had the cost of the wedding was like $300 million. Well, we just went in and found the average price point of like our 3 top neighborhoods and divided that by 3 million and said you could buy 842 homes in Druid Hills. You could buy 900 homes in Virginia Highland. And people loved it. They loved that stuff. The market, guys, don't send 12 video emails about the market. Your clients will hate you, But people do want to know about the market. So once a quarter, you're going to send them that. Once a quarter, you're going to talk about you, what's going on, what your passions are. Hey, a funny story, anything.
So every email is a video email.
This is on the first of every month.
Oh, okay.
You're sending a video email. You're sending one video email out a month.
One video email.
Yeah.
Every one of these emails is a video.
So you're sending, right, so let me go. January, you're sending in marketing. February, Yeah, video.
Okay.
This is a video email.
I thought it was one video to start and then all this.
No, sorry. This is your video email.
Got it.
So you're sitting in front of a camera and you're video. Now what you do is you just practice. You send one to yourself. You send one to your mom, your dad. You let them look at it and you get comfortable with it. Eventually you'll be able to knock these out. The first one will take you an hour and a half. The second one will take you like 3 minutes, and then after that you'll be knocking them out in like 90 seconds and being done. Right? Yes.
I had.
On your team, who is in the video? The agents or you?
You. This is you.
The agents.
No, this will be you today. And if you're on a team, then it can be the team leader, or it can be anybody on the team, or it can be agents on the team. It can be whoever you want. Doesn't have to be consistent. On the first, every one of your 100 contacts should get a video email of every month. And it needs to be, if you're an individual agent, it's you. If you're a team, it can be anybody on the team. It's coming from the team.
But the whole team's contacts are always the same email.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just staying in front of them. They also get a postcard. So on the 15th of every month, they get a postcard.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Can I just interject?
Go ahead.
I think it can also be if, for a team, I think it could also be if they wanted to be it for like their individual.
They could do it on their own. It's only
Yeah. So like,
$19.99 a month.
if you want to
for
send
the
it
road.
just to your SOI and your PCSOI, as long as everyone on the team is doing it, it doesn't matter who's sending to whom,
So like when
Just
we started
consistency.
this, it was 2014, I think, and I had 4 people's. I had her SOI, Zarina's, Sconyer's, Graham's, mine, Jones. I had 6 people's SOIs, and I still did it every month and sent it to all of them, and no one ever complained. I mean, I know what you're thinking. The limiting belief is, why am I getting an email from somebody else? But if you group it as the team, and what you're doing. The first one, they may be like, what? But then they're getting a postcard, and on that postcard, it has everybody's photo on the team on the back.
Right.
So now they're going, oh, now I know. And then on the 21st, when we get to there, they're getting something. And then you're calling them 4 times a year, we're getting there. Then they're going to start associating individual agents with the team.
It gets to the point where, like, when I talk to my PCSOI, they don't even think, they know it's KW in the background, but they don't know how that works. They think our team is the entire office of KW.
Yeah.
Right? They know that I've been on a team. They know the team, because when I'm always talking about anything in real estate, I'm talking about the team and I'm tagging the team on it. So they understand that part of it.
All right, so your postcards are the same size every time, jumbo. I think we use Express Copy.
I think so.
They're 79 cents a postcard, guys. It's the same size. The back never changes. The only reason the back of a postcard would change is if you added or subtracted agents from your team. Do not do a group photo, because you'll continually have to update that. We have them just little boxes, side by side, every photo of every agent on the team. If someone leaves, they get taken off. If someone joins, they get added on. The back, the message never changes. The color scheme never changes. What happens when you get a postcard? You look at it and throw the trash. Who's bought a new car? You know what your reticular activator is? You buy a new car, and then you drive down the road, and what do you see? The same car everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? This is the same thing with the postcard, guys. Your clients are looking at it and generally throwing it away, unless you give them something of substance. Our best postcards are, do y'all have homestead exemption up here? All right, so is that in January? We can file?
September.
Okay, so every September, your postcard is every county and their information on how to file a homestead, no matter when you sold them the house. You will be amazed at how many people go, crap, it's been 3 years and I keep forgetting to do this. Thanks for reminding me. So that's your postcard for September every year. At the beginning of the year, we do a festival postcard. So we list all the festivals in order, and we put little check boxes beside them, and it just goes down and lists everything in Atlanta. And guess where that thing goes?
On the fridge.
On the refrigerator. I've been in listings that aren't mine, and I'm like, there's my postcard. How did it get here? For us, the South is big for football. So Georgia Tech football schedules are huge. I don't know, up here you've got hockey, you've got soccer, you've got everything. That's a big one. Those are the ones that go out about a month or 2 before the season starts. right? You want to get them to them early, and we have people literally call us and go, please make sure I'm on this list next year. But the festival one is huge for us. So that just gives you some ideas. If you're an individual agent, then team up with 9 other individual agents. So there's 10 of you. Go hire a graphic designer to build all 12 of your cards. And you pay 10 cents on the dollar because your SOI and their SOI are not going to overlap, most likely. And if they do, then somebody gets 2 postcards from both of them, right? But if you want to save the cost on hiring someone to do it, if you're a team, get together at the beginning of the year, design every one of these postcards. If you try to do it every month, it takes 3 hours a month. If you do it at the beginning of the year, you can knock it out in 6 hours and you're done. Also, if you do it monthly, it doesn't get sent out on the busy months. So you build all that stuff up front if you're running a team. Do it all. We do it in the first week of January every year. We spend about 6 hours and we build the postcards. So they're done, right? So the front is going to have a different message, but it's going to be a very similar color scheme continuous. Any questions on postcards?
And what service do you use to mail it?
Express copy, 79 cents a card. All right, what happens on the 21st of every month?
Is it the phone call?
No, good one. What happens? What happens at KW?
Profit share.
Profit share, that's a good one. All right, what else happens? Let's just talk about this one. 33 touch email goes out. Every single person in your database, in your phone, should be set up on a 33 touch for at least them getting this email on the 21st of every month. Now set yourself up on that. So you get the email, because what happens is people will call you and go, man, that was a great article about foundations. And you're like, what? Set yourself up on it so you get the email and read it, okay? That's free, guys. This is free, right?
So now you have all these people in follow-up, also you also have them right now in EH.
Exactly. But guess how much it costs? You can mass import them. Now, when you mass import them, get with your technology guy, talk to him. There's a way to mass import and automatically have them set up on the 33 touch. It's a CSV file, but there's a setting. If you don't do that and you import 1,000 people, if I had your email address, you're set up on a 33 touch, unless you're a real estate agent. I don't care who you
And
are.
even that, I get it from real estate.
But going back, don't import 1,000 contacts without understanding the setting, because then you have to go through 1,000 people and set them up on a 33 touch individually. Whereas you could just import it and 1,000 people are automatically set up on this. I fought this with my assistant when I started KW because I hadn't drank the Kool-Aid. I was like, there's no way I'm setting any of my people up. I fought it for 2 years. The second year, she just did the mass import and did it. And I started getting phone calls. And the first month I did a $2 million transaction from someone I hadn't talked to in 15 years. And I wasn't about to pick up the phone and call them, but they got an email from me. And it started happening, and I was like, Joan, what's going on? And she's like, well, I kind of set them up on the system. And I was like, it worked. I mean, we did $2 million of transactions with that guy, and I would have never talked to him again. So that's free on the 21st. Any questions on that?
And that's going, setting in the edge, that's set in by the agent edge, or are you using it as like a team, and the team is doing that to send out?
We do it by the agent edge. Yeah. So this is part of our intake program. So everybody gets set up on that. That's free. And then we call once a quarter.
And this one gets really easy because you can take your database and take the letters in the alphabet, there are 26 letters in the alphabet, to a week. 1 week we'll have to have 3. And then that gives you who to call every week. And that way you can make sure that you're remembering, oh wait, did I call that person? Did I not call that person? So you just keep it simple and do it by the alphabet. You know who to call.
Have your calls associated around whatever video email you're sending out. You know, whatever you just sent out, have it associated with that, or whatever postcard you just sent out. You know, if it's September, I'm calling about Homestead. Hey, just want to make sure you got my postcard about Homestead and make sure that you file for it. Again, you'll be amazed at how many people don't file for that. Right? Any questions on this? On top of this, you have your top, yes?
So you're sending 3 emails a month?
All right. No, so this is what we're doing. We're touching them, where's my teeth open? 3 times a month. Sending them a video on the 1st. Sending them a postcard on the 15th. We're sending them an email on the 21st. And then we're calling them once a quarter.
You're also sending them the market to you.
That's quarterly. So that's quarterly.
Yeah, this is where I got y'all confused. But I won't do that ever again. Here.
So basically,
Try to make it super
let me
easy.
explain it. So basically, we've got 3 months a quarter, right?
Right.
So the first month of the quarter, it's going to be a market update.
Right.
The second month of the quarter, it'll be about you, and the third month of the quarter will be about the neighborhoods.
So
in the
this is
area.
January's, February's, March's.
But so every month you're sending that email as well, so you got a big.
Yeah, it's 4 touches. 4 touches a
Yeah.
month.
Well, email, one postcard, and one drip email from
Yeah.
EH or Command,
Yeah.
or wherever we're going, and then the call once a
Yeah,
quarter.
actually, and I take that back. It's 3 touches a month, and then the quarterly
And the
calls.
floating call.
And I'd like to add, because I make the agents do this, and I do it personally, and I think it's
We're gonna do
great.
the advocate list.
The what?
The advocate list.
Well, yeah, but the note cards weekly. And so sometimes, I go with birthdays. That's super easy. You don't know their birthdays, go on Facebook, cheat, write down all the birthdays for the month, and that way you've got your note cards already lined up for that month.
All right, to cap this off, you have the top 10% in your database, your advocate list. An advocate is someone who's bought or sold real estate from you in the last year. No matter if you like them or not, they're on that list. Somebody who screams your name when someone says real estate. They may not have given you a referral last year, but you know every time someone says real estate, they're saying your name. And then anybody that has given you a referral in the last year. That should equal out to about 10%. And anybody you've closed in the last year. I already said that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. So your advocates, you want to talk about some of the advocates?
Yeah,
Once a
I love
quarter, we do
advocates.
an advocate giveaway.
These are the people you love on, right?
Yeah.
So your database you touch monthly, these people you love on, and that's, you can have advocates that you've never sold to, but they do scream your name. So I like doing quarterly advocate gifts. It started by dropping off pumpkins.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. 300 pumpkins?
No, I know, but
My
but
God,
that's
it
how
took
it
us
started.
3 days.
That's how it started.
It
So
did.
we started by dropping off pumpkins, and then we did holiday cheer. We did a bottle of wine. I knew who wasn't a drinker, so I would take coffee instead. But something that, just to say thank you and to show appreciation. We've done, my favorite is every once in a while doing a scratch-off lottery ticket. I can't tell you how many text messages of pictures, I want a ticket. Like, they get excited about winning a free ticket, right? We've done little plants at springtime with like just a little note, happy spring, enjoy the season. We've done a little summer survival kit with like sparklers and a little
4th of July.
thing, 4th of July, yeah, something fun for summer. It doesn't have to be costly. One of the best ones we did was around Halloween. I had missed the pumpkins and did little bags of candy, and people got so excited. I mean, just a little candy drop off.
And it's only your top 10%, guys. You're not taking it to everybody in your database. So if you have 100 people, about 10 people.
Now, what this kind of developed into is now we do a fall festival.
Yeah.
And so we have a big parking lot in the back of our office. His dad has this cool 1951 Ford tractor. He brings it in with a thing in the back that he puts hay
Trailer,
on.
hay,
that
hay
way.
rides, face painting.
And so now it's a big client appreciation party. And so we'll do that now. We're doing them like twice a year.
Yeah, so here's the thing, 10% of the people you invite will show up to your event, but you get credit for 100% of the invites.
People just want to be invited.
And that is huge, guys. We always do it we're doing it during football season. We're doing it, because we do it in October. But 10% show up. I mean, we invited over 3,000 people last year, and we had about 290 people show up. But we got credit for everybody. So that's a big deal.
And then it gives you an opportunity. So you call them for a month in advance, you postcard them, you Facebook invite them, you call them, you text them, you send a handwritten note before the event, and then after the event, those who show up, you thank, and those who didn't come, then you just say, you know what, we missed you, hopefully you'll make the next one. And again, it's just about being invited, and you're constantly staying top of mind.
Yes, ma'am.
If you're an individual agent, where would you recommend starting, the vets or the little Popeyes?
The Popeyes.
Popeyes.
Now, the Popeyes are not visits. That's a different thing. The Popeyes are ringing the doorbell and leaving
Drop
the
it
gift and getting on to the next one.
What would, so in Philly, they're townhomes, so
Yeah.
I if I Popeye, it's gonna get stolen.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a good point.
So that's something to think about.
Okay.
You can kind of mastermind around that, or brainstorm around how you could do that differently. Do you guys have lottery here?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I would start with the scratch-off tickets.
Yeah, because
I'm
you mail
telling
those. You don't
And
go anywhere.
if your database, like, if you have 100 people in your database, 100 scratch-off tickets
It's $100.
is $100. And I'm telling you,
I like the
the,
number thing.
huh?
I like that because you just helped me here. So I'm going to go back to 100 contacts, right? Do y'all remember how much at 100 contacts the postcards are? How much?
They were
So how much? How many? $79.
79 cents, right, cent, yeah.
So $79, and then if we're paying $20 a month for BombBomb, we're spending how much a month to market? $99 a month, right? To market to those people. Now, I actually ran the numbers on this, and I don't have my sheet with me, but it's a cheat sheet. But we're marketing to Mets, right? Do you guys know Mets and non-Mets?
Yes.
A Met is somebody you know, that's your past client, your sphere of influence. A non-Met is an e-lead or somebody that you don't know. So when you break this down and go Mets and non-Mets, and I'll have to send the exact number. For $99 a month, you're gonna make X in income. Do you guys remember algebra? I don't. Do you guys remember X is a sum of money that equals this X? Y'all get that these two are the same sums of money that you have earned? You've earned this X by spending $99 a month on people you know, right? And you've only had to market to 100 people. Well, if you go backwards on non-Mets, you're spending over $5,300 a month to get to X. Do y'all follow me?
Yeah.
So see where maybe it's, and you're marketing to 3,200 people, I can't remember the exact number. But it costs so much more, and this is based on the averages of conversion. I had a guy from Harvard do this, no joke. And that's a joke, okay, I did. But this is based on the average conversion for non-Met e-leads or non-Met leads, it's 1.5%. And when you're talking about why do we go market here? Why do you go spend money on people you don't know? Because you don't fear the rejection. You don't fear them saying no to you. You don't want to go after the people you do know. When I go back and say, if I'd have started this conversation, say, I want to show you a marketing plan where you're going to get in contact with all your friends 4 times a month. How's that feel? Really? Does that feel great? No, it feels like I don't want to contact my friend. And you will have people who cuss you out. I had my good friend who I played soccer with, he's a Navy doctor, and he was pissed. And he screamed, and he called me names. I won't say it because we're on live video here, but he called me names. And then a week later, he sent me two doctors that were moving, and they both spent over $1 million each. Even though he quit sending me these videos, I've asked you 3 times, and I'm like, no, you didn't. It was Matt Castle. That's his name. I just remembered it. But it will happen. Guys, focus on people you know until you get to about 30 million in sales, and then start focusing on people you don't know. Really put your money here.
I just wanted to add something. With that database, don't think it just has to be people who are local. It should be everyone you know. Your brother lives in California, you should be sending it to them as well. Because I'm thinking referrals, right? So everyone, everywhere.
And we're going to end it with this. I'm going to give her a plug. This works so well that 2 months ago or 3 months ago, we didn't know she might be coming to Philly, and she's looking at generating leads here and knows nobody. Has already generated 2 referrals in 30 or 45 days just by reaching out to people here and starting this process. You guys live here. The opportunity is here for you. It exists. Get in front of the people you know, market the people you know, bug the people you know, and you'll get a lot more business. Cool. We'll hang around if anybody has any individual questions, but thank y'all for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah.